But you nailed it there, Weeksy. And what I like to hear from you then was you were saying that there are a few guys, obviously around our age, overseas who are retiring and they're wanting to come back to the club. And I think that's just, it's super important. I talked to Benny Moen about it when we came back in 2020. And he was just like, mate, and he's like a passionate East Tiger. And he was like, there was no other way this was going to go. As soon as I hung up the boots from professional footy, I was going to come back. And it's like, you think about how much the game of rugby has given us and how many experiences it's given us. It only seems right to come back and contribute to where it all sort of started.
Yeah, 100%. And it's exactly the same thing, mate. People I think a lot of guys sort of recognise the impact that playing for Sydney Uni had on their career. I know I certainly had. I don't think I would have made it at another club. So it's almost just it's repaying the not the favour, but just repay the people there, because I think the top dogs there, when you're talking about the CEO, the presidents and chairman, are all the same people who were there 20 years ago. There's a lot of stability in their structure there.
Yeah, and it just feels like the right thing to do, hey. And tell me, how did you enjoy being on the other side this year, coaching the guys? Was that something that you'll look to do more in the future?
Do you know what? I don't think so. Look, I'm a rugby fan, mate. I don't like. I like what I do. So my role there at the moment is semi-mentoring the young forwards, working on a few scrum things, but mainly as a mentor to especially the type 5 guys, and especially the props who just need a lot of loving, because at that young age, there's so many cases of young props who they throw in the deep end immediately, don't crack it, they get rid of it.
Yep.
And it's happened to multiple props who are still back at uni, and I'm like, no, bide your time, sit here, keep playing, 100%. Get better. And one of my things that I like to say at training is when someone gets dicked in a scrum, just take it, learn from it. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the session. You are going to get dicked a million times before you start to get good and confident. And I use myself as an example. I said, I played 10 years. It was probably 5 years in before I wasn't losing sleep about scrums before games. It took that long for me to be super confident in myself. And look, it might be different for other players. But me passing on my own experience to these players is the best way of doing it. And so to answer your question, mate, look, I don't have any sort of ambitions to be a coach right now. It's an extremely stressful job. I've got a job away from rugby, which I enjoy.
Yeah.
And it pays me money. The coaching scrums doesn't.